You wrote that Hamas uses non-custodial wallets to evade detection. Do those wallets pose a particularly high risk of attracting terrorists and other very dangerous people?
Thank you for the question. It is important, perhaps if I may, just to refer to your earlier comments about the funding of Hamas. The major funding of Hamas, unfortunately, the current sanction regime is far from being sufficient, and most of its budget and funds are still going through the traditional channels. And I want to put that clear because crypto is a problem, but this is not the major problem, and we have to look, on other traditional channels like banking and exchanges and money exchanges and cash and so forth. So let's not forget that.
Hey, everybody, it's Eddie from Tokyo. This is your cryptocurrency update from Japan. Senator Elizabeth Warren, she's still trying to cast a shadow on crypto, and it's not working. Dr. Wagman put her nicely in her place. Now look at here, Senator Cynthia Lummis. She put out a correction. This is the fact. Crypto accounts for 0.69% of illicit finance. That's less than 1%. I hope CZ flashes her just one of his four-finger FUD sign. And if you are unaware of the meaning of for Binance, please look it up. In just 12 days, as we saw the 25% increase of XRP, there has been an increase in wallets. Now over 10,000 more, and whales are getting involved. There's an all-time high of 277,000 wallets holding at least 10,000 XRP. To put things into perspective for comparison, as of August 2023, Chain Analysis study found that there's more than 460 million Bitcoin wallets. And check it out with Flare Networks. I got the October roundup today, and the number of wallets holding Flare has passed 400,000. That is incredible. And yes, I am a Flare Networks technology fan. Don't complain to me about the price. The Brass Knuckle Books announced that the John Deaton's Food Stamp Warrior audio is out worldwide. And what you get is a bonus chapter. It includes the anticipated debut rap single. Here's someone you really want to respect. This is Off Ledger. Check out the infra he's running. He's got an XRP Ledger validator, a node, a data website, then a Zahao validator, a Zahao node, a B2M XPOP store, that's a burn to mint XPOP store, a burn to mint indexer, and an Evernode beta server. If it wasn't for guys like this, where would we be? Here's a very interesting tie-up of talent. I think you might know Daniela Cambone. Well, she is going to be the director of global media for the ITM trading. That, of course, is Lynette Zhang. And the two of them together, wow, how interesting for the precious metal market. I watched them both, and just to let you know, Daniela is my dad's favorite. Dubai is where it's happening. The Cardano Summit starts there tomorrow through the 4th. If you've followed me for any length of time, you know that I love the digital assets that are used in the payment sector, and I have many. Some have worked out really well, and some are still trying to find their way. The Watts Pay team is one that has reinvented itself, and I'm very much looking forward to this AMA where I'm going to join Stas. It's 6 p.m. Singapore time, Thursday, the 9th of November. You can submit your questions in this thread. Check out the market here at a glance. The top 500 by market cap XRP is up 6% at 60 cents at the time of this recording. And Bitcoin is just over 34,000, up almost 1%. Now, John Deaton had his Tuesday Crypto Law Show, and he spoke about the importance of the ETF. This would be the Bitcoin Spot ETF. And he did so with Quinn Thompson of Maple Finance. How do these ETFs benefit the crypto space?
You got more accuracy on price. You've got, you actually own the asset, which people can can grasp that, I think, a lot more simpler. Does it impact liquidity as far as to the market? So does a spot ETF, is that going to allow more liquidity of Bitcoin?
It will improve liquidity for sure, because what it will mean is with this spot ETF, there will need to be liquidity providers or market makers who trade it. So if I open up my 401k or my brokerage account, I can log in, buy the spot ETF. And on the other side of that trade is a market maker or a liquidity provider who is basically buying the Bitcoin spot itself, the asset, and putting it into the vehicle. And so then that's representing my share of the ETF and the direct feedback loop into the spot markets itself. So one for one, basically.
So again, I'm thinking simplistic here. If there's more market makers and more liquidity, then you have more buyers and sellers. Wouldn't that decrease volatility on price?
It should over time. That's exactly right. Over time, as this asset class matures and scales, it very well will decrease. And we've seen that over the last 5 to 10 years, the volatility has come down. Similar to the used car analogy. If every incremental dollar or sale as the asset grows, it takes more and more of those dollars to move the price. With the same volatility.
And it seems to me, Quinn, that there's a transparency element to a spot ETF. And what I think about, and we could talk about this in a little bit, but I think, I was shocked when we learned of the SBF FTX, implosion, that they really didn't own that much Bitcoin on the platform, when you compare it to the FTT token and all these other tokens. But I was shocked that there was so little Bitcoin. And then we've learned that they sold Bitcoin without the customer's knowledge and all of that. And it seems to me with an ETF, that for a certain number of shares are going to represent the actual number of Bitcoins, and that you have that transparency issue, which seems to be more protecting investors, but you're the professional. Is transparency an issue that improves with the spot ETF, or am I mistaken?
So you're very on point here. The blockchains are a beautiful technology for this transparency. And so if I'm transacting, peer to peer, I'm sending you Bitcoin, sending Bitcoin to a different location, and you have our wallet addresses. You see that transaction. It's verified by a number of different actors across the globe who are supporting the network. The problem with some of the debacles of the crypto bear market last year was this lack of transparency, and it embodied all the things that people came to crypto to avoid. Really was, I don't know what is on my bank's balance sheet in the great financial crisis, and turns out it's a bunch of junk bonds and mortgages issued to people who don't have incomes. And that only came out once the debacle unraveled and there was no money to pay back their clients who had deposits. In a similar fashion, these types of smoke screens and issues can arise if there's either improper regulation, fraud in the case of many of the crypto situations, and lack of transparency. And so I would expect, the day one, the beautiful thing will be, it's their SEC regulated products. These are, where when FTX happened, everyone was like, well, is anybody in law enforcement going to do anything about this? The guy just stole tens of billions of dollars. And finally they are. You'll be arrested the next day if you start doing funny business with the ETF. That's the whole point of these long drawn out processes with the SEC and all the regulators, the CFTC who regulate the underlying Bitcoin asset. There's a lot of hoops to jump through for these asset managers to even list the ETF on their platforms and offer it to their clients. Again, another set of hurdles with a different group of people to go through. And so just out of the gates, there is an increased regulatory burden, and ultimately using that burden for benefit, stamp of approval on these ETFs for traditional investors to access it. So it's a big step forward, and hopefully that higher level of, regulatory or self-regulatory standard starts to, truncate through across the industry.
I'm going to let Aaron McDonald take you out. He is, of course, co-founder of Futureverse, and they have this very cool music that is text generated with using AI. It's fascinating. And until next time, do take care. Sayonara for now. Bye-bye.
Gen is our text-to-music generation product. Gen just launched today, actually, publicly, and we've been working with the team at Ali for a while now to create what we think is the world's leading music AI tool. Gen has been designed to produce high-fidelity music, three-dimensional sound quality, and music samples from Gen that we've released so far have achieved the leading scores versus other popular models on the market. Gen has been built in collaboration with the music industry, and we think that working with copyright owners and producers and publishers and artists will help make better music tools that help them be more creative. We'll try and change it up a little bit, and this time start to show some of the range of Gen. So in this prompt, we've got an electronic hip-hop music track, 140 BPM, with synthesizer, electric guitars, drum machines, and for this conference, in the vibe for a geek, for the future, for AI, and for Aspara. The model can understand the context of words, even if they don't apply specifically to music, and start to generate tracks that inspired from that user's imagination. I could dance to that one.